Medical laboratory science is stuff. I mean, the school fees, the costs, the long hours, and I'm wondering at this point, is it really worth it? Today's video, we'll be talking about the cost, the salaries, and the career pathways that you can grow into as a medical laboratory scientist. If we are being honest, the numbers don't add up. What's up, easy fan? Welcome back to the channel, guys. I welcome old and new members to my channel, and judging from the title of this video, we already know what we are talking about, the truth about medical laboratory science. Guys, are you a student that just wrote JAMB and is thinking of the course to study as you're entering into university, or are you already in the university and you're thinking, what does medical laboratory science hold for me outside the university? Or are you already in the workforce and you're wondering, am I going to be on the bench all the years of my life? Well, this video is exactly for you, so stay tuned, don't skip any part of this video, and if you're ready, let's go. We're talking about facts, making use of figures. Now, these figures may not be specific, but at least they are close to what the true picture is. In my country, Nigeria, if you're lucky enough to get into a federal university, you should budget between 45,000 naira to 120,000 naira per session, and that's kind of manageable. Now, if it's a state university, it goes way higher. The budget is about 100,000 to 300,000 naira per session. Then we move to the private universities. Now, this is where it's going to really choke, because private universities bill from 600,000 naira to 2.5, and mind you, it can go higher depending on the university. Now, imagine pouring in so much amount of money just to come out and that pays you less than 200,000 naira. Now, that is the reality of every medical laboratory scientist. Abroad, these figures go way higher. Take, for instance, in the United Kingdom, school fees ranges from £15,000 to about £22,000. I'm not saying this is a standard figure. It can go higher, it can be lesser, but this is just a figure that I know about from people, friends, families, and people that have studied abroad too. So let's move on to Canada. In Canada, the school fees can go from about 30,000 to about 60,000 Canadian dollar per session. The US, this can range between 42,000 to about 65,000 US dollars. And when we move to Australia, it goes for about 40,000 to 70,000 Australian dollar. Now, you see, the investment is actually very massive, much more higher compared to that of my home country. Now that we are done talking about how much you pour into becoming a medical laboratory scientist, both in Nigeria and in these stated locations outside Nigeria, let's have the real talk about salaries. In government hospitals in Nigeria, entry-level scientists earn between 100,000 to 150,000 naira monthly in government hospitals. I stand to be corrected. If you know you are earning much more higher, then let me know. But this is a figure that I got because I have people working in government hospitals, entry-level scientists. So if you feel this is much more higher, do call me out. Let me know down in the comments. Sometimes this can even go lesser, especially in private clinics. If you have experience in Nigeria, you can move higher to about 300 to 600,000 naira in private hospitals. I know of somebody that is earning about 400,000 naira as a medical laboratory scientist, and I'll say that's pretty fair. So yeah, you can get that, but I don't know about that in government hospitals. I can only say for private facilities, and I can't even say that for every part of Nigeria because, you know, Lagos has its ways. Outside Nigeria, the story is much more different. In the US, from what I gathered, medical laboratory scientists earn between 61,000 to 84,000 US dollars in a year. That's in a year, mind you. And in UK, they earn about 30,000 to about 45,000 naira in a 45,000 pounds in a year as well. In Canada, about 30,000 to 60,000 Canadian dollar, and in Australia, about 40,000 to 70,000 Australian dollar. So in my opinion, I would say that these salaries kind of match the tuition fee. The majority of labs out there would pay you less than 200,000, if I'm being very honest. You pour all that into yourself just to come out a job that pays you less than 200,000. It takes you a much more longer time to cover up the school fees that you put into yourself. You can find yourself trying to cover up in 8 years, 7 years before you even make it up, especially if you find yourself in government hospitals where everything feels much more stagnated, in my opinion. With that being said, there is still good news out there. Let us move on to the third section of this video, different career paths. Divisions like the quality assurance officer. In Nigeria, I feel like people want standard now when it comes to health, when it comes to results, when it comes to services. They are looking for ISO labs. With that, they brought about the whole quality assurance officer. You know, quality is major, it's like the bulk of the whole ISO thing. So with the invent of a quality assurance officer, you get to not only be limited to being a bench worker like a medical laboratory scientist just working on the bench alone. Now you can delve into being a quality assurance officer that pays more. In Nigeria, it's about 386,000 monthly. Some places they can go higher, but outside Nigeria they pay really well. I mean, you can find yourself earning between 60,000 to like $120,000 dollar monthly. So that's actually a big thing. There's also the option of a laboratory manager. Now, in Nigeria, you can find yourself earning about 474,000. In fact, you can find yourself earning as high as 800,000, and I kid you not, you can find yourself earning as high as 800,000. All you need to do is first of all, you need to go beyond your BSc certificate, get that master's degree. If you can even get a PhD degree, that is like a plus for you. I know someone that actually has a PhD degree, and I even know someone who doesn't even have a PhD degree, but because he worked at an ISO laboratory, right now he's earning almost 800,000 or 800,000 exactly. So this is actually like a big news. This is a big deal, and this is a big opening in the medical laboratory science field. You are no longer limited to just being on the bench. Now you can hold leadership roles, be a leader, and get paid, better. Also go into being a consultant or even research, where it pays as high as 800,000 to about 2.5 million, thereabout. So the figures just keep going higher and higher and higher. So medical laboratory science is not only limited to you being on the bench, but for you to attain those higher positions, you have to go beyond your BSc, you have to go beyond your masters, you have to take on courses, quality courses, try and get yourself in those ISO laboratories, even if it is just for attachment, or take on some quality courses and all of that. Just build yourself so that when that opportunity comes for you to take up those roles, to be a leader and to earn more as a medical laboratory scientist, and not just be a bench scientist who is making less than 200,000. I feel like this opportunity is like an eye opener for each and every one of us, and it's more like the best news and the best thing that has ever happened to medical laboratory science as a whole, especially in this country, Nigeria. Let's be honest, is it really worth it? In private universities, you pay about 600,000 to 2.5 million, and this can go even higher just to come out and land a job that earns you less than 200,000. To be honest, it doesn't add up. I mean, the Nigerian economy is struggling, and there is a huge mismatch between studies and the salary. Everything is not adding up. But if you study in a federal university, yes, you can come out and it wouldn't be that bad. But compared to that of a private university, the figures are not just adding up. But outside Nigeria, the story is quite different. Though the tuition fees are very high, but I feel like the salaries kind of meet up with it, and there is kind of a balance. Well, people would say there are other things that take up the salary, like tax and all of that. We in this video, we are not factoring that into it. We are just talking about the what you pour into being a medical laboratory scientist and what you get out of it. If I'm being very honest, in Nigeria, the only time it will be worth it is if you minimize the cost, or if you secure a job in a very high paying organization. But outside Nigeria, it is very worth it, especially if you are able to secure scholarships, because the salaries and the growth make everything worth it at the end of the day. Hear from you. Would you choose studying in Nigeria or studying abroad if you are given a chance? Let me know down in the comment section. Do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notification, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you very much for watching.